So, what's happening in April? Well, we're getting a lot of daylight. Some of the spring flowers are popping up. If you're an early riser, you may notice that it's lighter earlier in the morning, and the birds are making a lot of noise. That's a sure sign of spring. And the sun's also getting higher in the sky, and so the maximum altitude at the start of the month is 50 degrees, and by the end of the month it'll be 60 degrees. So that's a good thing for anyone that's into solar observing, and to be getting views of the sun through a bit less atmosphere. So images and views should be clearer. We're past the halfway point for sunlight, and by the end of the month, there'll be just over 14 hours of sunlight. Dawn is currently at 5:13. By the end of the month, it'll be at 4:10. And sunrise is about an hour's, not quite an hour's difference from the start of the month to the end of the month. Sunset is getting a little later. Dusk doesn't end until 10:15 by the end of the month, so that's going to make it you're going to need more coffee if you're staying up to see night sky wonders or to image things at night. Now, the sun has been quite active this past month. This sunspot complex, AR2976 and 2975, these are the sunspots that were responsible for the coronal mass ejections that gave us the aurora display on Wednesday, well, actually early Thursday morning. It was a little later than forecast. I don't know if anyone saw Jason Dane's very nice picture he took from Martinique Beach, which was the astrophoto of the day. Today, I guess, or maybe yesterday.
It was today, David, and then folks will see it later in my presentation.
Okay, great. And that was kind of an interesting coronal mass ejection, because it was it's what's called a cannibal coronal mass ejection. There were two individual flares. I think they're M-class flares that led to coronal mass ejections. One being the last one being faster than the first one, so it caught up and merged with the first one and gave a bigger punch to the Earth's magnetic field. Now, there's a new sunspot complex starting to line up with us, AR2978 and 2981. AR2978 is a good sized sunspot, so it should be quite easy to see in a small telescope through a white light filter, or even if you have white light filters for binoculars, you should be able to see it. This complex has a beta gamma magnetic field that has energy for M-class solar flares. So if it erupts with some significant flares over the next day or two, we may be in for another nice light show at night. Just before I leave this, we missed a really nice, probably really nice display because the AR2976-2975 complex erupted with an X-class, X1.3, I think, class solar flare, and the X-class are the biggest of the solar flares. But it's more or less missed us. I think we're going to get a little side swipe probably some point tonight but if there is a aurora, it's going to be pretty far north. I don't think we'll be able to see it from Nova Scotia. The moon, new moon was yesterday, April 1st. It's the birds laying eggs moon. You can follow the link to get the correct Mi'kmaq pronunciation. April 9th is first quarter. Full moon is April 16th. Last quarter is April 23rd. A occurrence of note is on April 27th. You have to be up early in the morning to see this, but the waning crescent moon will be very low in the sky, and 4 degrees above the waning crescent moon will be Venus to the right and Jupiter to the left. So that's a nice photo op. If you have a camera with a tripod and telephoto lens. April's a bit of a special month because we have 2 new moons. So on April 30th, there's a new moon, and this is the frogs croaking moon. For Explore the Universe or Explore the Moon programs, there are the moon's if it's a clear sky, the moon's a great object to have a look at and to photograph or sketch. The challenge is to observe 3 mare and 3 craters in binoculars. If you're doing the Explore the Moon binocular program or the Explore the Universe program, as always, the best views are around the terminator, and if you go around the time of the first quarter, you're going to see a large number of craters in nice relief. So April 8th to 10th after sunset is the time to hopefully we have a clear sky. That's the time to get this challenge and to look at a few different craters and mare. Now there's something else happening this month that's noteworthy, and that is that you'll be able to see the lunar X and the lunar V, if it's clear, on April 8th during daylight. So between 4 and 5 p.m., the moon should be, if it's clear, the moon should be visible high in the sky. And at that point, the sunlight, the lunar dawn, the sunlight will hit the tops of high points, tops of crater walls and mountains, and illuminate a V, which will be very clear, and the V is visible for a longer point of time than the lunar X, which is down here. But you won't have to stay up late. It'll be daylight, and it's going to be not quite as striking as seeing the lunar X and the V in the dark. But I've done this in the daylight, and it's certainly apparent on the moon. You'll need a telescope, but well worth the effort, and then you can go and have dinner. You won't have to lose any sleep. The planets. Lots happening with the planets. This month, all the planets are visible at some point in the sky. Mercury will appear in evening twilight around the middle of the month, and this will be the best apparition of the year for the evening. So it's a good time to take Mercury off your list. The maximum eastern elongation of the planet will be 21 degrees, and that'll be at the end of the month on April 29th. So if it's clear and twilight, get your binoculars out or a telescope and have a look for Mercury. It'll be fairly bright. It's magnitude plus 0.2, so it'll be a naked eye, unaided eye object. But good because it's so high. It's a good opportunity to, if you're into planetary imaging, to get an image of Mercury. Venus is still a very brilliant dawn sky object at magnitude minus 4.4. Last night, or sorry, early this morning, which it was cloudy. It would have been early yesterday morning, April Fool's Day. It was cloudy. It was rainy. Yeah, it wasn't nice. But Saturn and Mars were both nearby Venus. Neptune will have a very close conjunction with Venus on April 27th. So the challenge here is that Venus is so bright, and Neptune is going to be quite dim compared to Venus. So seeing Neptune in the glare of Venus is going to be a challenge. I don't think you're not going to be able to see this with binoculars, but a telescope might allow you to see Neptune very close to Venus. Mars is another object in the pre-dawn sky, a magnitude 1, so quite easily seen with the unaided eye. And on April 4th to 6th, there's a close pre-dawn conjunction of Mars with Saturn. Middle of the month, Jupiter makes an appearance again in the morning sky, magnitude minus 0.2. And on April 12th, it has a very close conjunction with Neptune, 0.1 degree separation. So nice and close. Again, a challenge because Jupiter is bright, not as bright as Venus, but still quite bright in comparison to dim Neptune. So there'll be a lot of glare from the gas giant, which may obscure your view of the ice giant. Saturn is now visible in the dawn sky, magnitude 0.9, and as I said, there will be a close pre-dawn conjunction with Mars on April 4th to 6th. Uranus is in the evening sky currently at magnitude 5.8, but by the middle of the month, it fades into the evening twilight. Now, tomorrow on the 3rd of April, if it's still clear, you'll see Uranus close to the waxing crescent moon. And finally, Neptune will emerge into the morning twilight by the middle of the month. Very low in the east, so you'll need a very good eastern horizon to see Neptune. Here are the photo ops. On April 3rd, again, all these photo ops, you have to be an early riser. At 5:30 in the morning, Venus, Saturn, and Mars are all close together. Nice camera photo op opportunity. On the 15th of April, I think that's the 15th, I'm sure screen's covering it up. At 6, a number of planets are in a nice line. So from left, we have Jupiter and Neptune, and then Venus and Mars and Saturn. So you probably won't be able to capture Neptune in a photograph because of the brightness of Jupiter, but nevertheless, all 4 planets will be visible in the pre-dawn sky. And at the end of the month, again at 5:30 in the morning, Jupiter, Venus, Jupiter, and the waning crescent moon will form a nice triangle. And off to the right, there's Mars and Saturn. So again, another planetary photo op for those that are up early. Spring constellations are Ursa Minor, Ursa Major, Botes, Leo, Virgo, and Libra. These you can tick off. They're all visible by late evening, well before midnight, so you don't have to lose sleep to get those constellations checked off in your Explore the Universe program. Spring stars in these constellations to pay attention to, of course, Arcturus, which is a bright red orange star, third brightest in the sky, and then some lesser bright stars. Polaris is only the 48th brightest star in the northern sky. So it's not, a lot of people think Polaris is a super bright star, but it actually isn't. And then we have Denebula, Zubin Janubi, and Zumin Lamy in Libra, quite low on the horizon. But again, these are stars which you need to identify in the Explore the Universe program. There are double stars in the Explore the Universe program, and the one I want to highlight today, or for this month, is the double star in Ursa Major, Mizar, and Alcor. Mizar is the middle star in the Big Dipper's handle, and if your eyes are good, with the unaided eye, you'll be able to make out nearby Alcor. If you're older and your eyes aren't quite so good, it's a very easy split with binoculars. At one point, it was thought that Mizar and Alcor were an optical double, but current thought is that in fact, Alcor is loosely associated in a gravitational sense with Mizar, even though the two are a light year apart. Now, if you're looking through this, at the double Mizar and Alcor with a telescope, you'll see a close-in companion of Mizar. And this is, so there's Mizar A and Mizar B, and here's Alcor. There's a star that'll pop out in your eyepiece that are between Mizar and Alcor, and this is Ludwig's star. At one point, it was thought to be a newly discovered planet, but in fact, it's just a star, and it's unrelated to Mizar and Alcor. The other interesting thing about this is that Mizar A and B, as well as Alcor, are themselves unresolved double stars. So you've got a multiple star system here of 6 stars, which are all linked gravitationally. And this is one of the double stars in the spring double stars in the Explore the Universe program. So very easy one to knock off. And again, you don't have to be up super late. Big Dipper's nice and high in the sky around 10:30. For your deep sky objects, the one to highlight this month is Melot 111, or Colander 256, also called the Coma cluster. It's easy to find, a really nice binocular target. If you look south of the 4.35 magnitude star Gamma Coma Berenices, just south, you'll find the Coma cluster, Melot 111, and looks very nice in binoculars. It's quite a fairly dispersed cluster. Nice one to photograph as well. And that's it for April. Are there any questions?
I don't see any in the chat, but if anyone would like to ask David a question, please unmute yourself and ask away.
What's that current image of?
Oh, this is the Needle Galaxy, one of the galaxies in the Virgo cluster. I imaged it maybe last week. Kind of, this area is lousy with galaxies, as you might know, because you can see I can see at least 3 other galaxies in this particular image, here and there and there. It's probably a few more. I think there's one here too.
Nice.
All right, I'll stop sharing.